Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Pokemon Yellow Legacy. You may be wondering why I'm in a Pokemon Center and why I don't have our main team with Fiero, Raticate, and all that. I did a little bit of evolvings to get ahead of our Pokemon Dex entries and decided that today's episode should be a montage of that training. It took about, 3-4 hours to get all of these Pokemon evolved. Poliwhirl will of course be traded off later on in the next episode, but with that, I'll leave you to post-commentary Dirk. So first, what I decided to do was I had to first deposit all the main team into the box so we could train up our new 6 Pokemon that needed to be evolved. This Poke's commentary will just basically be me explaining my thought process through all of these. Originally, when you deposit Pikachu in Pokemon Yellow, it actually makes a little special sound effect. Kinda doesn't sound very pleased. But then, of course, when you withdraw him, he's all excited. Had to change my box back here so that I could withdraw all the Pokemon needed. A lot of these Pokemon are going to have to be eventually trained, but once we've beaten Misty and gotten access to the daycare, a lot of this evolving stuff is actually going to become a lot easier since we're going to be able to put at least one Pokemon in the daycare to level up before finally going for the evolution. With this withdrawal, basically I finished getting all the Pokemon. And we leave. But not before healing, because for some reason in this ROM, your Pokemon stay injured while they're in the box. And here is the first major thing of note that happened during the training. We ran into an Ekans. Ekans is basically just the one of the common Pokemon for Route 4. Kind of started out as a threat to my Pokemon due to its just general overall level compared to the Pokemon I was training. This training actually took a bit of time because, well, many of them had to go from level 5 to like level 20, so of course it would take a while. With this, we were able to catch an Ekans, which will be trained at some other time. Trained and evolved at some other time when we do another one of these big Evolvenings. And here we come back to the field. as we are training believe this was... Well, we'll see. This one? The Sandshrews in Route 4 are actually pretty rough, due to having poison sting and all that. Quite rough. Oh yeah, basically this is the clip when they ran female got bite. Still not entirely sure what during the training was better to have. Bite to use, bite or stab poison sting. Oh, and here is the rarest Pokemon in the field. Farfetch'd. In this ROM, Farfetch'd is in Route 4. It's a pretty low percentage chance. These things are rough to fight, even once you actually catch up to them in level. They have 3 status moves that all lower or increase stats, plus Fury attack, so rather rough. And this first encounter with a Farfetch'd was not the best on me. I was unable to actually fully catch it. Because, well, low amount of Pokeballs, plus it's must have a really low catch rate. So it wasn't able to use the typical trick of lowering it to a third of its health and throwing a Pokeball to automatically catch it. And there you can see that Farfetch'd actually in this ROM gets Sharpened. Which is quite interesting since Sharpen is usually a Porygon exclusive move. This Duckbill League was always just kept being such a pain. It became so bad that on this one I just had to feint it because I ran out of Pokeballs. Then, now we join back to me having to restock my items after that Farfetch'd essentially drained me of all my Pokeballs. Had to buy a whole bunch of them, buy 10 at a time. Of course, while I was at it, I bought some antidotes, got some general items I needed. Got the potions. Sold the gold nugget. Sold the nugget we got from Nugget Bridge. So that helped us get more resources. And then we come back to the grand rematch against Farfetch'd. This time I was dedicated to catch this thing, because this thing was annoying me all the hell. I mean, it probably would have been easier if I had used my normal team and paralyzed it with Sparky, but at the time I was, of course, training these lower level Pokemon. Honestly, should have done a capture run and then a training run, but I hadn't thought of that at the time. Ironically, Farfetch'd is actually probably a very good flying type to use in this ROM. I mean, it starts out with Sharpen, and you can get it early enough to actually train it up. It's at least mediocre and can get you to the mid-game, I would think. I honestly couldn't see it being useful in the late game, but it could get you through the early to mid game. And at this moment, I just started chucking Pokeballs at it, and pretty much most of them just didn't even wiggle. I'm starting to actually think that maybe, just maybe, the catch rate is way, way low for Farfetch'd. All the while, I just kept doing sharpens and such, luckily. Just kept blowing through my Pokeballs. This capture took 10 Pokeballs to do. 10. And I only captured it on the 10th one, because as you'll see, I had to lower it down to red health in order to capture it. It was far too difficult to catch this thing. If you ever want to catch this thing in this game, I think it might actually be wise to come back with Great Balls or something to have an easier time, or lower it to red health and paralyze it. There, I finally caught the Farfetch'd. It was a pain, but I got it. And here we are back, training some more. You cannot imagine how much back and forth I cut out of this video. Wild Minkies in this area are actually rather powerful for their level. A lot of times I had to switch to Poliwag just to win some of these fights early on, until the rest of the party could catch up in levels, get some of the better moves. Because with this, Nidoran male got his Horn Attack, which gave him a lot better of an attacking move than just Poison Sting. I'm not even entirely sure if the stab bonus on Poison Sting was even worth it. And here's the other major Pokemon on this route, Psyduck. Of course, at this moment, I couldn't, when I first encountered the Psyduck, I could not capture it. I think I cut out the failed attempt at capturing Psyduck because I ran out of Pokeballs. Had to take a quick trip to the store, to the shop, to get 10 more Pokeballs. Because of what that Farfetch'd did. So, with this encounter, we caught a Psyduck. And another Pokemon that might get leveled up at another point to fill in a Pokedex entry. There's gonna be a lot of Evolvenings throughout this Let's Play. A lot of Evolvenings. Now, I'm still deliberating whether this format is best. In fact, question for the comments. Do you enjoy this format? Or would it be better to just skip over pokedex gathering and a lot of the training and such. Because these evolvenings might be frequent. Spearow learns Fury Attack here. Fury Attack is pretty good on Spearow when you think about it. This was later in the training, after Spearow had gained a level after gaining Fury Attack. During all this training, I found out the Rattata that we caught early on had abysmal attack IVs. Abysmal. It was a DV of 1, which means our Rattata and our Eradicate is pretty much like the wimp of Rattatas, of Eradicates, rather. So yeah, Horn Attack was really helpful for Nidoran Male. Of course, what was even more helpful was when he got Double Kick here. Here's another highlight. This time it's Nidoran Female's turn to learn Double Kick. Honestly, the learn set for Nidoran Male and Female are not that different. All that's different is Nidoran Male learns Leer and Horn Attack. Nidoran Female learns Growl and Bite. Since we have caught all the main Pokemon from Route 4, it kind of meant that most of these clips are basically our Pokemon learning new moves or evolving. So, I believe this is a clip of Pidgey getting Quick Attack. I like to spam Sand Attack at times because it made it so that the opponent could not hit me. Because I have to say, Pidgey kind of sucks at times. But it's easier to train than a Spearow, admittedly. At least it's easier to train than a Spearow. Pidgey doesn't get any new moves until it evolves, so it can only do Quick Attack as its best move. And of course, this was the fight in which our second Poliwag finally reached level 18 and became a Poliwhirl. We will be, again, as at the start of this video I explained, Poliwhirl will be traded for something in Cerulean City. something that we can't really catch elsewhere. I actually was looking into different team compositions in case I had to actually restart this game. And turns out Goldeen would have been a better water type to use on the team, combined with a Geodude. Instead of the water type that I'm planning to use, and the hidden sixth member that I'm gonna keep secret. With the Geodude. Oh, and here's a Niran male evolving into Nirino. Interesting thing about this ROM, the learn set for Nirino and Nidoking are the same. You don't miss out on any moves at all when you evolve them with the Moonstone. Thus, the instant Nirino evolves, I turn him into a Nidoking. Nidoking is going to be very important later in the game when we face Koga, because due to my analysis, we don't have a good my team doesn't have a very good counter for Koga's team of poison types. So having a Nidoking and training him up later in the game, I'll actually be able to face Koga more confidently. And with here, we're basically getting Nidoran female to the same level as Nidoran male, evolved at. So we can get Nirina. Of course, we do the same thing we did with Nirino. The instant it evolves into Nirina. We use a Moonstone line to make it a Nidoqueen. It's kind of great that there is no repercussions in this ROM for evolving your Pokemon with stones early on. This also extends to Kurama as well. Once we get a Firestone, we are evolving it into Ninetales immediately, and there's going to be no difference in learn set levels or anything. We're not going to miss any moves for learn set. I mean, you may be wondering where we're going to get us 2 more Moonstones for Clefairy and Jigglypuff. But this ROM has an answer to that. This ROM has an answer to that, which we will see later on. At this moment, Rattata actually learned one of his better moves, which also makes me sort of afraid of Gary's future Eradicate, because we learn Hyper Fang here. Hyper Fang is, of course, high crit rate move, high power, especially on a normal type like Rattata. And when Gary's Eradicate uses that later on, oh boy, is that gonna hurt. Hopefully we have some answer for it. Of course, here's Spearow hitting a level. And I believe learning Focus Energy. I have noticed that many Pokemon in this ROM, not sure if that's an added change, but many Pokemon have started learning Focus Energy early on. And since it's finally fixed in this ROM to where it doubles your crit chance, it's actually a rather good move to have on some of these Pokemon. Especially Spearow, who has a multi-hit attack that if it crits on the first hit, will crit for all of them. Here we're basically allowing Pidgey to get to level 18. Yeah, Farfetch'd is actually pretty powerful here early on. So this fight basically becomes a war of Fury attacks. As you can see, Farfetch'd's Fury attack did way more than Nurse Bureau's. Or a way more percentage at least. Of course, Pidgey hits level 18, finally, and evolves into Pidgeotto. I have a feeling it's going to be a while before we can evolve this Pidgeotto into a Pidgeot. And of course, he learns Wing Attack the instant he evolves, so he becomes a much better Pokemon. Like I've said, many Pokemon have been, I would presume, added focus energy into their moveset, their learn set, in this ROM. Here, Rattata is basically learning it. We're replacing Tackle, not because we really don't need Tackle, Hyper Fang, and Quick Attack. Continuing on, this is basically Rattata finally getting its final level to level 20. This took a while to do, because it started out like level 5. But once it reached level 20, it of course evolved into Raticate. Never gonna really use Raticate, but having played with Rattata for a while, I definitely wouldn't discount using it in at least the early game and mid-game. The Sandshrews here were annoyingly high defense, especially for early game Pokemon which don't have very many special moves. Of course, our main team will be able to take out a Sandshrew in Snap, but these Pokemon have issues with them. With this, Spearow gained is truly probably one of the best moves that he gets as a Spearow. You know, in my honest opinion, Swift. Not entirely sure if replacing Peck was the right decision here, but I mean, we're not really going to use this Spearow later in the game, so we're just evolving him for the pokedex. So it really doesn't matter what moves he has. And this is the showcase. This is basically how powerful Swift is. This Spearow finally reached level 20. And evolved into Fearow. He also learned Mirror Move. Again, didn't really matter whether what I replaced with Mirror Move. It's not really gonna be important. Well, wasn't that interesting? As you can see, I got a lot done within those 3-4 hours. Mostly got all these Pokemon evolved and ready for later on. So, if you enjoyed this video, like, comment, and subscribe for more. And with that said, see you next time. Dirk's here, out.